Good morning, dear ones. Welcome once again to The Growing Edge with me, Reverend Robert Brzezinski. Okay. Yeah. Let's be about it. Let's talk about it. Let's share exactly what is creating that frustration that you hear right now. So, we use a program called StreamYard as our broadcast studio. We love StreamYard. It's a great program. And somewhere along the lines, we have a problem has developed where Facebook is either it won't be it's not consistent enough to be that I'm banned. It's that suddenly our stream just ends going to a few of our Facebook locations. Not all of them, and for many of you, you watch this on our primary page, New Thought Media Network. Thank you for that. Howdy, Wayne. Good morning, sir. Hey, Cowboy. Good to see you. Snowflake Cowboy. So we start these broadcasts, and the idea is that we're trying to reach more people. We're trying to make this available to more people. But what keeps happening is these destinations kick the feed after 10 or 15 or 20 seconds. And it makes more work. Because now I got to go back to those feeds, and I got to go back and delete these posts that don't actually exist because they only lasted for 5 seconds. And it isn't the work as more that it is the bigger, deeper question of how do we as a community, as an organization, what's our next step? Here it is, right? You know it's coming. What's our growing edge? Where do we need to grow in order to remain viable, in order to continue to fulfill the aspect, to fulfill the mission, to fulfill what we're here to do and be in the world as an organization, as New Thought Media Network. So, right, the program today is called The Growing Edge, considering the principles and practices and the processes, the stuff we're doing in service to the vision, of both a world that works for everyone and creating a world of love, peace, abundance, prosperity, harmony, global broadcast network. Stewardship. Yes, Wade, stewardship is an important word in all this. We are, in many ways, this movement, we are stewards of a vibration in music and consciousness and video and what we create and what we share. And what I know is there is room enough for everybody here. There is room enough for everyone here. I really, there are certain voices that you're not going to see on our network. There are certain people that we wouldn't just expose you to. That hey, listen. No, there's a lot of stuff out there we don't agree with. We wouldn't be doing, and what we're doing. There's room enough for everyone that's in alignment with the mission. Within this, and I share with you every time I sit in the stillness. Every time I sit in the silence, every time I am in my spiritual practice, no matter what that might look like and when it might look like throughout the day, I get these downloads of what New Thought Media can be and what it wants to be. Now, in many ways, that's my role. That's the fulfillment of my role as a vision caster, as a visionary within this organization and on the planet and within the other organizations that I serve and places I get to play. And I'll tell you, I've tried numerous times I have been invited into an organization in one way or another, and I try very hard not to like, okay, I'll be a good player. I'll be a good participant. I'll be a worker bee, and I'll do what needs to get done. And invariably, I end up somewhere, somehow, catching a vision for what the organization could be or might want to do, or this or the other thing. With New Thought Media Network, the vision that keeps emerging just keeps having greater ideas, newer, more expansive ways to show up in the world. One of the ways recently that I've seen, and I'm not going to completely talk about it, but it's a process to support up and coming ministers move from welcome to the club to what has to be done to be ordained and to receive ordination. There are countless ways that individuals can serve and support each other. There are countless ways that this organization can serve and support the individuals that are part of what we're doing, that are part of who we are and what we're becoming. One of the things I do want to talk about, and one of the things that I think it is paramount and instrumental to the demonstration of what New Thought Media Network is. And that's the idea behind an intentional community. Currently, I'm calling it the Evergreen Dream. And part of what the Evergreen Dream represents is the ability to not just believe what we believe and not just live what we live, but live what we believe out loud and live what we live out loud as a visible demonstration of spiritual community. Now, New Thought Media Network was born online. New Thought Media Network is actually the most recent envisioning of spiritual community that has been growing and emerging and evolving and for years and years and years online. Very slowly, very gradually. Many of the people that have been part of this in one way or another or instrumental to getting us to where we were last year when this name emerged have decided to be in other places or are still with us. There's an emergence that's been happening for a long, long time. And I feel for myself, I feel like I'm absolutely in the right place at the right time doing what's been I am in the nexus of everything I have done up to this point, and I am aware of that, and I am awake to that, and I am embracing that. I am excited by that, and I am celebrating that because in many ways that is one of my definitions of success. My family's okay. We've made it through this pandemic. We're being safe moving forward. We're going to continue to be safe and imagine if you had been in a community of 10 or 12 or 30 people for the past year, where everyone was in agreement, where everyone was working together, where there was shared resources, where everyone knew that no matter what they're doing, there's more than enough food, and there's shelter, and there's companionship and community, and there's opportunity. I believe we can make something like that. Well, it's not just possible, it's probable. I think it's probable. I think it's absolutely the through line of a portion of what this vision is all about. And so we begin here online with this grand intention to create a global broadcast network. That's a big word. Now, what I love about how all this works, and I was sharing this just a little bit earlier today with the Rev to be. That's my new nickname for her, Rev to be Laura Topper, because over the last couple days, Facebook, you know how Facebook is, they show you your memories. In case you forgot, here's where you were a year ago. Oh yeah. What I realized was, because of Facebook memories, I got a quick glimpse back to where we were a year ago. And at that time, our initial vision, mission, purpose statements, our guiding statements, if you will, did not include the word global. And it was must have been around June or so of last year that the word global comes into the mix. And I realized, through visioning, through my spiritual practice, through being in the stillness and listening to source, I realized that the word global needed to be in there. And Laura and I sat down, we did some work, and we wrote a few things. A couple people gave us some input, and boom. And wouldn't you know it, just shortly after that is when I'm introduced to Laura Topper. And when I realize there is this amazing Rev to be, minister in her own right, working on the credentials of Reverend, working on the last vestiges of putting all those pieces together, of weaving those threads into her tapestry of life. And in that, not only a great ministry is being born, but a great collaborative friendship and partnership was born. That is the growing edge, and that continues to grow. So we want to be in the Visioning on Monday Global was it. Yes, thank you, Katie. Yeah. It's coming through more and more and more and more. And there's a couple of opportunities on the table that, again, I don't want to talk about just yet because they're not quite, the ink is not dry. And there's some opportunities coming in the very near future, I believe, for New Thought Media Network to step up and play a bigger role on a couple of global stages in ways that that not only promote who we are, but more importantly, shares with a broader swath of the New Thought audience, as it shares with a broader population of how we can support them in getting their message out, and how they can support us in getting our message out. Because it's the same message. Over the past year, I've learned that I've experienced a demonstration of the belief that there are no limits to how this mighty philosophy, the science of mind, can be shared with the world. It doesn't always have to look like a room full of people on a Sunday, and I've been saying this for years, but the plop, pray, and then pay model is over. We've got to find ways to be in community, to be community. Now, I know online is what we've got right now. And I'll tell you, I've been saying it for months. For months and months and months, I've been saying we shall hug again. We shall hug again. Oh, and I'll tell you, I was at an event Friday night with a room full of ministers and practitioners and longtime friends, and everybody's vaccinated, and we hugged many times, many people, many opportunities to be in that place where we were able to affirm that we're alive together, that we're in this together, and that we've made it over this big hurdle. And so as we emerge from this self-imposed, not separation, but isolation, right? We're never separate. Might have been isolated, but we're never separate. And as we emerge from that, we emerge into something not just different, but something evolved. There's a lot of growing that happened this past year. A lot of that. And for many people, that was the early stages of germinating a seed. New Thought Media Network we're barely pushing up past the dirt, folks. We're barely pushing up past the dirt. We are just starting to sprout. And I tell you, Friday night, dressed up in all my robes and hoods and stoles and jewelry and all that, and dress shoes. Oh my God, I had dress shoes on. I haven't done that forever. And in all of that, to stand and to hear one of my dear colleagues and friends announce Reverend Robert Brzezinski, Senior Minister, Creative Director, New Thought Media Network. Man, that felt good. And there were people I got to see that night that were like, that I've heard what you're doing. What are you doing? I haven't heard what you're doing. What are you doing? What is this? As a seed, we have been in this time of germination for the past year, pushing our way through, making mistakes, growing in strange ways, in weird ways. But at the end of the day, it's all God. So the growing is happening not only within me, but within each and every one of us. And so for a long time now, well, I guess it feels like a long time, I have an affinity for the aspen trees. From the time I moved west, and still do, and nothing quite like a good bike ride goes through a big old grove of aspen trees, because I'll get off my bike and hang out, lay in the trees, meditate, take a nap, whatever it might be. I can get lost in the aspens. They're so much fun. But what I love about the aspens is their strength is in their numbers. Their true strength and their true beauty is not in how deep of their roots, because their roots aren't very deep. Their true strength comes in from the fact that they are one. That they're not independent trees. They're not separate trees. From everything I know, you cannot get one single aspen to just grow. If you go and try to buy one aspen tree and plant it in your garden, it's not going to grow. Not going to do well. And if it does, it's going to put out shoots real quick, real fast. And because aspens live as one organism with many shoots. So some of our friends and family, wow, their tree is still underneath the dirt. They're still buried in the dirt. Some of our not so friendly friends still are buried in the dirt. They're not pushing through to the light just yet. They're not pushing through to this new experience of growth. Some of us have pushed through, and I believe New Thought Media Network, we are a mirror of that. When I look at Laura Topper, when I look at Pastor Michael Mangus, when I look at my brother Reverend Elzia, who's been in this with me through thick and thin from the very beginning, Reverend Lisa Williams, been with us from the very beginning of this, thick and thin, and the relationships that I had with many of these people before this started, but so many great relationships and friendships and collegial and opportunities that have risen up since we've started this. When I look at all of that, we got some mighty, mighty aspens in our midst. And we've got some mama trees and papa trees that are already starting to attract and cultivate and support sprouts and others in joining us and in growing and in being a part of all of this. So when I think of New Thought Media Network, I envision this glorious grove of aspen trees. Some that have been around for years, and some that are just starting to push through the dirt, just starting to really see the light of dawn of the sun. Some in stages of different programs, and I want you to know we got a handful of new programs coming in June. New stuff coming, and some new negotiations coming for July. So we haven't slowed down at all in the conversations that I've been having for months. Many of those are now starting to take form, or starting to push through the soil, and you're going to start to see new expressions, new opportunities to engage, new things to share with friends. And we're considering perhaps a whole new video platform. Thinking about doing a Netflix for spirituality kind of thing. A way for you to a better way than scrolling through page after page of Facebook posts trying to find that one episode. A better way than trying to follow all the links on YouTube. A way for you to be able to share the shows, the programs that we're creating, that you want when you want, and go back and watch old episodes, and hey, spend a whole weekend binging different programs that we provide. The practices and the processes for me are simple. I show up, I do my practices, spiritual mind treatment, visioning, meditation, walking, all the things we talk about, all the things we teach here. And then I take inspired action on what reveals itself, what Spirit calls me to. Every morning, Spirit calls me to be a part of this, to show up here for you, for myself, for everyone else, to answer the phone calls, to talk it through, to figure it out, to get creative, and to cast this vision of a community, an intentional community of heart-centered souls that are going to share this network with the world. I believe there's a physical component to that intentional community. I believe it already exists in the mind of God. I believe the buildings and the houses and everything necessary is already existing on planet Earth. We're just awakening to its existence and ways to finance it. I believe an intentional community is growing up around this ministry called New Thought Media Network. And so while there will be physical locations, not just one, but we have physical locations around the planet where people come together behind a shared agreement of intention. And the work that we do together is this network, New Thought Media Network. I've witnessed intentional communities grow up around farms and farm products and other agricultural products and other things. The model's there. I see it in the vision. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. But I know that there are those within the range of this broadcast, the range of this community that do. I often say that if you hang out around here long enough, we're going to convince you of your greatness. Perhaps your greatness is helping us into building that community. Perhaps your greatness is helping us find the finances to buy the the property that's already sitting there waiting for us. 5 houses, 4 buildings, 10.5 acres. Right in the heart of Evergreen, Colorado. The Evergreen Dream. It's a growing edge. Now, what I know about growing edges is sometimes they sprout off in directions we don't intend or we don't expect or we don't recognize. It's not linear. This is nature. So if it's not that property and it's not now, then it'll be another property when it is right, when everything is aligned, when everything is just right. This is a divine ideal in the mind of God, and therefore there's no stopping it. Even I couldn't put an end to it. If I walked away right now, I just said, nope, that's it. I'm done. There's somebody out there that say, I'll take it over. I'll give it a run. I'll keep it going. Now, I'm not going to do that. I fully intend to stick this ride out for another 10, 20 years. This could be it. This could be the last big, the last big thing. But what I know is the seed has been planted and the sprout is already growing, and we've pushed up past the sun up past the ground a year ago. And we're nurturing more and more seedlings to sprout up around us and with us, and in collaboration and cooperation and co-creation. Because we're building something magnificent. And I'm not doing it alone. So you might as well come join us. Because I promise you, if it's been anything like the first 54 years of my life, almost 54 and a half, we're going to make it a good time. And we're going to have fun. We're going to grow. We're going to learn. We're going to evolve. We're going to expand. And week by week by week, we're going to keep visiting and exploring this growing edge. I want to thank you for being with us. If you'd like to add in anything to this conversation, I'm going to give you an email address here. I'm not sure why that wasn't in there before, but there it is. Send an email, info@ntmedia.org. Just let me know in the comments or in the header what it is you thought you'd like to discuss or you'd like to have us discuss on this program. Katie O'Brien, thank you. I thought this program was going to be something different, and I stayed because it was interesting hearing your vision and thoughts. An intentional community producing the Global New Thought Media Network. How amazing. I've not yet been to Colorado. My friends there say Evergreen is heaven on earth. I will come visit soon and look you up. Yes, Katie, I'll buy lunch. Absolutely. No worries at all. I will buy you lunch. Yes. This program, it is changed. Originally, I thought I would share with you, what I'm doing to learn and what books I'm reading and what things and what I realized is, for me, the greatest growing edge, the greatest opportunity for growth right now, for learning right now, is through this ministry, New Thought Media Network. And so we don't focus on the intentional community every week. And this week, I needed to cast the vision. I needed to share. It was calling within me to share with the world that here's another divine idea. New Thought Media Network was born out of visioning. And I'll tell you, the idea of an intentional community in the woods has been in my vision for a lot longer than New Thought Media Network ever was. So I have to think that one is leading me to the other. And not everybody in the organization is going to live on that property either. And who knows, maybe it gets bigger and maybe it gets bigger. And some of you have heard me talk about Michael Singer and the surrender experiment. But that's for another day, because it's the bottom of the hour. That means it's time for me to get out of here and wrap this up, let you get back into the next portion of your day, and get a little break in here before our next program and what's coming up next. What is coming up next? Tuesdays. So we got a little break here. Tuesdays, New Thought Today is on at 2:00 with myself and my brother, Reverend Elzia. We take a look at the evolution of the New Thought philosophy, religious science, and science of mind, and where it's going, and look at where it may be taking us in the future, how we can apply this philosophy to the conditions of the day, but also to a future vision of a world that works for everyone. I invite you to join us for that. And then our dear friend Ken Ludwig with the Vibrant Living Hour at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Ken Ludwig and the Vibrant Living Hour. Join us again and again here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm going to get out of here. I love you. Peace and blessings. I look forward to see you again real soon. And I'm feeling nostalgia. So let's go back to where it actually really all began.